CBS News. A group of California students and teachers missing for more than a day in a boat off New Guinea are now reported safe, victims of bad navigation. I'm David Jackson reporting on the CBS Radio Network. The group from Pepperdine University in Los Angeles and their 5-man crew had been on an oceanographic cruise between two small islands off the New Guinea coast. They left the island of Wewak on schedule, but failed to show up at their destination, Wuvulu, a tiny atoll rising only 6 feet above sea level. After a 24-hour search, they turned up. Simon Keeble, a spokesman for the New Guinea government, explains.
We started a search for her and didn't find her. But then at noon today, she turned up coming into Wewak, spotted by an aircraft sent out this morning. What had happened, it seems, is she couldn't find the island, and so came back. The group leader said that everybody was quite all right. They were having a rest for the night and would be going out again tomorrow. I think you can put it safely down to the bad navigation. No, but as I say, she's going out again tomorrow. You never know, it might open again.
And we'll have more after this.
Most everyone's interested in people who are making news. Supreme Court nominees, political leaders, candidates for public office, cabinet members, and the like. I'm Dallas Townsend, CBS News. Every Sunday on News Profile, I discuss a person who's in the headlines, someone you might like to know more about. Be it a presidential hopeful in the hustings or an unknown thrust into the public eye, I'll try to tell you all about that person and his or her background on News Profile. Listen for the broadcast every Sunday here on the CBS Radio Network.
This is Sam Levinson. Join the national fight against loneliness. Let me tell you about Voiceogram, a program designed to bring millions of people back in touch with the outside world. To make the program work, we need compassionate people to visit the residents sick, disabled, retarded, to talk and listen and tape messages for their loved ones to hear and respond to. Just write Voiceogram, Box 127, Coscob, Connecticut, 06807.
CBS newsman Richard Wagner quotes a source close to John Connoley as saying Connolly will place the name of President Ford in nomination at the Republican National Convention. Wagner is traveling with Connolly in Michigan and reports Connolly was not available for immediate comment. Vice President Nelson Rockefeller and Senator Barry Goldwater are also reported to have been asked to give nominating speeches for Mr. Ford in Kansas City. Their responses have not yet been disclosed. Connolly's name frequently comes up as a possible running mate with President Ford. From the White House Thursday came word that Mr. Ford won't be pressured into an early announcement of his choice of a vice presidential candidate. That announcement, the White House says, will come in Kansas City after the presidential nomination. Ronald Reagan carried his campaign to the Northeast Thursday, he and Richard Schweiker in New York and New Jersey, claiming to have picked up 6 more delegates to the GOP convention. Minnesota State Republican Party is apparently looking for skeletons in Walter Mondale's closet. Rich Holter of CBS affiliate WCCO reports from Minneapolis.
Democratic vice presidential nominee Senator Walter Mondale has labeled as absolutely ludicrous the request that he explain a so-called flower fund kept in his office from 1960 to 1964 when Mondale served as Minnesota Attorney General. A request for the explanation of the fund came in a registered letter from Minnesota GOP State Chairman Chuck Slocum, who asked Mondale to explain whether the fund was reported as taxable income, whether state employees were asked to contribute between $50 and $200 to the fund when they were being reviewed for salary increases, and whether a similar fund currently exists in Mondale's Senate office. In a statement issued by a Washington aide, Mondale said the alleged flower fund was simply, in his words, a voluntary kitty, into which he and his friends chipped in money to pay for flowers, for weddings, funerals, birthdays, and the like, and to pay for going-away parties for office employees. Mondale's one-paragraph response ends with these words, "That's all it was, nothing more." And the Minnesota Democrat adds, if that's the best the Republicans can do for an issue in this campaign, they must really be hurting. Rich Holter for CBS News, Minneapolis.
Now this.
An artist spends years in training, practice, experimentation before he creates his masterpiece. A builder studies stress and strain before he even attempts to put 2 bricks together. A cook spends endless hours before offering gourmet cuisine. Yet man's most perfect creation, another human being, is too often left to natural chance during pregnancy. So good care before birth is of vital importance. This is Tammy Grimes speaking for the March of Dimes. If you're pregnant, Seek out medical advice early and often. Eat the right foods, get plenty of rest and proper exercise, and no drugs. Absolutely no drugs without a doctor's prescription. When you stop to think, is it too much to ask? Good prenatal care while you are carrying life's most perfect creation? A searching question asked by the March of Dimes. It's up to you to answer, and be good to your baby before it is born.
Friday, researchers will have a new crop of cultures to look at, and they hope to be closer to finding the cause of the Philadelphia mystery disease. So far, no real leads, but scientists have nearly ruled out influenza as a cause. So far, 23 people have died from the illness. David Jackson, CBS News.